Morphological structure. So let's look at the structure of a word and see that how different morphemes are attached to it and how they help us in determining the meaning of a certain word. The meaning of a word is not obtained just by adding the individual meaning of each morpheme. So we take a word, a complex word, and try to understand its meaning with the help of each morpheme that we find. We have to look at how, in what order these morphemes or suffixes or prefixes are attached to the word or the root. The way they are combined provides aspects of word semantics in a compositional way. And this is known as, the analysis of these morphemes is known as structure. Let's consider a word undecidable. It has 3 units. Prefix un, a verbal root decide, and a suffix able. Right? Now let's derive its meaning step by step, how different morphemes were attached to, or which of the two suffixes were affixes were attached to it, whether it was prefix or suffix. Undecidable roughly means cannot be decided. Why the meaning of the word is cannot be decided, not can be not decided. So here is a difference. So to differentiate between these two, we need to look at the order in which these affixes were attached to the base or root. In the first case mean cannot be decided, we refer to an entity that in any case and not matter how hard one tries cannot be decided. So the meaning of the first bit will be in any case and no matter how hard one tries cannot be decided. So this is the first. This is about the first meaning, that is cannot be decided. In the second case, can be not decided, we refer to something that can be decided but which does not need to be. That can be decided but which does not need to be. Here is a very sharp difference between the two meanings. The way in which a speaker uses the word undecidable is the first and never the second. So generally when we say undecidable matter, so we telling that a certain matter which cannot be decided. How can we account for the first meaning and not for the second? The way the units are combined with each other is a thing that indicates us that which meaning is to be taken and which is not to be taken. We need to represent how the units are organized inside the word, the structure of the word. For example, we have to look at the position of morpheme, which is a prefix for a deciding factor, because is a deciding factor. In the first case, it modifies the suffix able, and in the second, it relates to the verb. So it means that modifies in the first case to able suffix, not to the decide root. So if we look at this, so this adjective decide and able, right? In the second step, the complex word combines with the negative prefix un. So we can have it prefix and adjective and decide and able. So this is how we can find that un is modifying able first, and then both are used with decide. Once we have decomposed the meanings of the word and associated it with each of its units, we can establish the correspondence in the following. The prefix un combined with adjective decidable, not verbal root decide. This accounts for the meaning of the whole word. So we can safely say that un is combined with adjective, because it is able that has made decide an adjective. Otherwise, it was a verb. Negation affects the combination of verb and able, not just the verb decide. So it is the negation that actually affect the combination of the verb and adjective able. The formal properties. The structure of a word tells us a lot of properties of the word. For example, the grammatical properties of the whole word. When we look at the units, we know what class of word it is. Is it an adjective or an adverb? For example, in the case of the word that we discuss, we know that undecidable is an adjective. Secondly, the units that are responsible for the fact that the words belong to that particular category are called heads. So, in this case, able tells us that this word is adjective. For example, ants, if it is added after perform, right, it becomes performance. So, performance will be head. And thirdly, it is the combination of the units that produces possible words, the way different units are combined, and explains that the prefix has a certain meaning, as for example in case of undecidable, un has a negative, not a reversative meaning. Reversative meaning, the example is reopen, open again. So this is how we come across the meaning of the word. So looking at the morphological structure of the word help us know the meaning of the words or their lexical meaning. So how they are used. So we can know also about the grammar of the and their grammatical categories.